welcome to my reality. So first off, before I talk about the topic of the day, I just wanted to say Ramadan Kareem to each and every single one of us out there that are fasting. May Allah accept our ibadah. May He bring ease. May He make us see an end to this whole global pandemic that we're going through. And I hope that we're all here again for many more Ramadans to come, and may we be among the blessed ones. Okay. Now let's talk about why I'm here. Now I'm here because something happened, and it got me thinking. What is it that happened? Well, so I was sitting and I was nagging like, oh my God, I hate my job. Maybe I'm in the wrong line of business. And then one of my friends were like, are you sure it's the wrong line of business or the environment? And I was like, wait, that's true. I love what I do. Do you get? So I was thinking like, many of us actually victim of this whole situation whereby we don't hate what we do. We just hate the place we do it. But then we can't differentiate it. We just feel, oh, it's what comes with the job. But the truth is, it's not what comes with the job. Many of us don't realize when we go from loving our job and doing it passionately to just doing it because we just have to, because at the end of the month they just pay us. So I feel once you get to that stage, it's a dangerous stage for anyone. When you lose the passion, when you lose the zeal, when you lose the love of what you do, you just doing it because you don't have a choice. I think it's a bad thing because it means that you're not going to input your 100%. So I want us to now realize the difference. Like once you're seated and you're thinking, okay, I don't like my job, maybe because there's certain people that are just sitting there and they're thinking, okay, maybe they've tried to act once or twice, this is something that they love, and it didn't work, and they just feel like, oh, the whole acting institution is a terrible one. It's not like that. You may have a bad experience because take for example, you get called on set to come and act a movie, and then the production house responsible for this movie are not people that follow the book, or they do stuff that you're not used to. It doesn't mean the whole acting institution is a bad place. It just means that this set of people you're working with at the moment are not nice people, but it does not mean the whole profession is a bad thing, because I believe in the future you definitely find a production house that would actually work and you would love it, and it will remind you of why you love what you do in the first place. So I feel that many of us need to have that moment of reflection in our life to know what we're doing. Because the truth is, when you start working in an environment that does not enable you grow, that is quite toxic, that the energy is when you come with a happy energy and they're always trying to damp your energy, definitely it's the wrong environment for you, but it's not the wrong profession for you. Yes, know the difference. We do what we do because we love what we do, but when the environment starts making us hate what we do, then there's a problem with the system, but not with the profession. So I hope we get to understand the difference, because the truth is, mental health matters a lot. When I talk to people about mental health, when I tell them, like, when it comes to my mental health, I really don't put anything, before my mental health, because the truth is, I've seen what mental health issues can do to a lot of people, and I've tried as hard as I can to speak about the seriousness or the severity of mental health issues to a lot of people. So I know what it can do to you, and I don't want it. So once you start affecting my mental health, I move. That is how it is for me. I move. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to move, because our situation might be different, can be different, but I'm telling you to evaluate. I'm telling you to sit, reflect, think, is it worth it or not? Because many of us have passed the stage of passion. We've passed the stage of love for what we love, of love for what we do. We are just in the stage of 30 days make one salary. And I feel for me that's a dangerous stage. Because at the end of the day, you give 15 years, 20 years, 30 years of your life to a profession that you love, but doing it in an environment that you don't like. What happens at the end of the day? You retire after 30 years with nothing. What happened? Oh, he retired a journalist. What happened? He retired an actor. What happened? There's nothing to show for it. And then when it's time for you to tell your kids or your great grandkids stories, you're like, I was a journalist and that was it. Or I was an actor and that was it. Like, it didn't make sense, because it takes me back to growing up, where my grandma would always tell us stories about things she did growing up and how she loved them. And one thing I liked about the stories were when she's saying them, she's always happy, like she's always reliving those moments. You could see it, the way her eyes lights up. You could see that she enjoyed everything they did. She'd be like, oh my God, you don't know this, that, I want to tell my kids those kind of stories, and I'm sure you all want to tell your kids those type of stories too. But then if you boil down to just telling them you need money, you have to work, no matter what the environment is giving you, now that is bad. I don't think we should start doing that. And I feel this is the 21st century, we're always talking about 21st century. This is a time for us to reflect, time for us to understand the environment is enabling. I tell you, any environment that does not want to grow with you, but wants you to grow with them, or however it goes, like they just want to grow using you, but without you growing in the process, it's a toxic environment. It's a bad environment. Any environment that you feel like, okay, you have a little, 2 cents of opinion to input on certain situations, and they always turn you down because they look down on you, it's not an environment for you, because we need to grow. How do we grow? Is by making things better, is by trying to develop our environment, our situations. But some institutions don't take that from you because they just feel, shit up, I'm paying you to do this, just do that. Now, when you are trying to find ways to improve and then the environment is actually stunting your growth, it's terrible. So you need to evaluate yourself, know the kind of environment you're in. Sometimes it's not necessarily the job you hate, but the environment. Because I have seen where an employer actually got injured in line of duty, and the employee actually, went the extra mile to see that this person is okay, to see that the family was settled, all those things, because they appreciated this person. But I've seen where you can actually call in and say, I am sick, but the next morning what you're seeing is a deduction in your salary because you didn't make it to work. You're sick, who cares? Is that an environment? It's not an environment. So I feel we need to evaluate the kind of environment we live, the kind of environment we work, because we're human, whether we like it or not. Humanity should come first. And any environment that does not see that is not an environment that I think any one of us should be in. That's the truth. Because I've seen people go extra miles just to be there for their workers. Extra miles. They don't have two heads. So why should you work in an environment that is toxic? Why should you work in an environment whereby all they care about is you come to work, you do what you gotta do, you move on? Someone dies in your family, they don't care. You need to write a memo. Oh, my father just died, my mother just died. You need to write a memo. Why did they die? They didn't tell us they were gonna die. Is that an environment? No. I've seen where someone lose a mom or dad or a family member, and the company takes over and say, okay, you know what? Let's sponsor this person's parents' burial. Or let's do this. Oh my God, this is what happened to you. They try to reach out to make sure you're even okay mentally. So I think we need to evaluate our environment before you cancel that profession that you're in, cancel that line of duty that you're in. Make sure it's not the environment. That's the truth. Make sure you're not in the wrong environment, because for every profession that you're in and you're complaining, somebody else is loving it. You know why? The difference is your environment is toxic, their environment is enabling. That's how it works. So if you're working for anybody, or if somebody is working for you, be sure to put yourself in that person's shoe. That's the honest truth. I've seen where workers love what they do to the extent that they don't care if they pay them, but they love it. Like, okay, I love my boss. They're not paying me, but I love my boss. Why? Because it's an enabling environment. The other day on social media, I saw a man came out with a story of how he interact with his workers, how he goes from one desk to the other, to ask them, how are you doing? How do we improve your stay in this office? What is it that is going on in this office that you don't like? Tell me about it. That's how he found out that one of his staff is being sexually harassed by somebody else. And before you know it, he handled the situation, fired whoever needed to be fired, just so the staff is comfortable. But in some organizations, it's not like that. You can't even talk, especially now that we have tribalism going on all over the place. You can't even talk. If it's a Yoruba person that is doing something for you and the boss at the top is a Yoruba person, you can't even say anything. If it's a Hausa person, that's the same thing. If it's an Igbo person, that's the same thing. So it makes me wonder, what happened to humanity? So I feel we need to evaluate our environment. We need to evaluate our surroundings so that we're not affecting ourselves at the end of the day. We're not affecting our mental health. I want to tell my kids fun stories when I grow old. When I give birth to them, I want to tell them how I love what I do. I did it with passion. I did it with love. I don't want to tell them I did it because I didn't have money, so I had to work. No. A lot of people think I'm weird when I tell them I really don't care about money. What I care about is peace of mind, satisfaction, and making sure I'm okay up here. A lot of people think, oh, you're crazy. But that's not it. The days that I wake up and I don't even have a penny, but I don't care. Why? Because I'm healthy, alhamdulillah. My mental health is in check, alhamdulillah. So why would I come and be trying to kill myself for what? An employer or an employee that could not care about me? So I think before we, take out that profession, let's be sure it's not the environment, because sometimes the environment plays a huge role in discouraging us from what we do. Okay, so that's just the thought I want to leave you guys with today, because I'm sure a lot of us watching this video are going to be like, wait, that's true. So I want you to reflect. I want you to think. Yeah, just think of what I just said and see how you can apply it to your life. And I tell you, you start to see positive changes. Before you make any decision in life, you definitely have to reflect. You need to, have a sober reflection to think, okay, where am I coming from? Where am I headed? Where am I right now? Is it actually enabling me to get to where I want to go? And you would soon find your answers. All right, guys. Well, I will have to go because, this is all I wanted to share with you guys today. And hopefully, you guys can leave a comment, whatever you feel that I've said that you want to input. You can actually leave a comment. As always, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. And of course, Iftar Kareem, I wish all of us a happy Iftar at the end of the day, and I pray all our prayers are answered. Of course, for those of us that are single, may Allah find us righteous spouse that will lead us to Jannah. And for those of us that have lost loved ones, may Allah make a Jannah their final home, and may He make their grave a comfort, even more comfortable than their dunya was. And for those of us that are alive, may we die with La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Do take care of yourself. Bye. Seremos miles, más y más.